Michael. I'm going to show you how to use a Powrtouch mover today. So we'll be doing the manual and we'll be doing the auto applicator onto the van as well for you. The handle is for the manual type. Have the handle as low to the ground as possible onto the shaft. Now the handle comes out for extra leverage, so pull over, put all your weight on, and it will lock into place for you. Tip one coming, grab the socket. I have knowing the bar to come off and the socket's left on there, and you still haven't got it when you get the upper end. Now once the rollers are onto the tyres, they act as a brake. Now in a moment or two I'm going to be taking the handbrake off. So another tip here is, before you take your rollers off, please reapply your handbrake. Without that, the van could easily come down a slope quicker than you put it up. Another tip I always say to folks, once the rollers are onto the tyres, and you're going to be moving the van to the towing vehicle, and then you're going towing, as soon as you put the rollers on, pop this on the driver's seat. Simple reason, if you sit on it, you remember to take your rollers off. You have enough to remember without taking them off. And when you take the rollers off physically, start with the handle in this position, but watch the kickback. It's got a real kickback as they come off on the manual model. Of course, then pull the handle. So we're putting back on now, and when you put this side roller on, it's also putting the opposite side roller on as well. So there we go. As I say, normally I would recommend to put this on the driver's seat. We're now going to show you how to use an Evo Auto control handset. Switch on as we just showed you, then we have to press both green buttons together, green light will come on, and then we have to press center button and the double triangle button here. Keep the buttons held, you will hear the motor start to engage the rollers to the tyres. You can let go of the buttons now. You have to allow both of them to calibrate themselves onto the tyres. And to get the rollers off, we'll now be pressing the centre button and the single button. So this one and this one at the same time. Again, hold the buttons till you hear the motors move, and they will come off all together. Now after they've come off, there'll be a period of time, and then you'll hear the motors make a slight movement back towards the tyres. This is just taking the stress off the actual motor that's applying the rollers off and on. Sometimes it takes longer than others, but you'll hear them just move back a slight amount. Now, as they are electric off and on, you could have a flat battery. Sometimes the on and off motors can stick, so the movers come with the T-bar. Now the T-bar is used for actually winding them off and on. And on the end of the grey box here, there's a little plug. You can pull that out, put the T-bar on, and then wind to either put on or take off the rollers, or just a couple of little turns to free off the motors themselves. Earlier models of these, you have to pull the cover off altogether. So you have to grab both sides, wriggle it off, and then you can expose the area to put this on. And one of these is always in the van from us when you pick one up. The handbrake now, as you can see, it won't actually physically move anywhere. Another tip here, make sure that the jockey wheel, this outer section, has got plenty of movement from the lower section here. You can see we've got a cutout. If you have this too low down, as you're turning the van, you can easily damage the bottom section of the jockey wheel. Now we've got to turn the power on so the mover can operate. And on this particular model, the switch is on the side. Now they can be in various other positions as well. They could be in a locker here, they could be in the locker at the front of the van under the bed, some are even inside as well, and of course a lot of vans have batteries on the side, and they will be in the battery box as well. So the little key has a peg on, will go into the slot, turn it clockwise, and now you're ready to go. Now with the Powrtouch handset, these two green buttons will be switching on the handset. So press them both at the same time, and at the bottom will come green light. Hard to see here in the light. There we go. Now come on. So your handset now is ready to go. Now the pointed end here, of course, is the front of the caravan. So if I want to go straight forward, I'll be pressing that button. To come left, pressing the right hand button, and opposite way as well. And of course you can come backwards because you can walk all the way around the van. So we'll be pressing straight back and turning as well. Another trick with the Powrtouch, if you want to turn the van very much one way more than the other, just press opposite buttons, top and bottom, and then the van will turn on itself, and then we go back the other way. You will never use the centre button on a manual mover. It's for when we use the auto on. And at the bottom is the power for the mover. Now there isn't a lot of difference between the two. So we're now going to just move straight forward, and as soon as you let your finger off, it will stop for you, like so. Now I always tell folks never to switch the handset off. Let the handset do its own thing. The simple reason is if you do press the green buttons, it's like an emergency shutdown. So that's why I say let you do your own thing. If you ever do press the buttons to shut down for emergency, get yourself out of that problem, but you will have to possibly return to the red key, turn off, wait a few seconds, and then turn back on. Also, if you've been using the mover and you have a 20-minute to 30-minute gap, you will definitely have to pop back to the key, turn off and turn on straight away for you. It takes a 9-volt battery inside the handset. This needs changing at least once a year, please. And of course your leisure battery always has to be above 12 volts as well. And a last tip for you, when you're taking the van to the car, don't leave us on top of the car at the front. I promise you it won't be there the other end.